So, what does it mean to be a dedicated yogi or a meditator? What vision do you have of a yoga teacher? Is it something that you could see yourself as? What would it mean to have a consistent daily practice in your life? You see, most of us come to yoga and meditation when we're in some sort of crisis, or, it could be emotional. It could be we're simply not managing the stress in our lives very well anymore. There's relationship breakdown. There's lots, right? We've all experienced a lot, especially in the last few years. What happens is we get very dedicated to the practice for a period of time while that crisis is happening. And then all of a sudden, things start to feel better and we fall away from the practice. And then soon enough, life presents us with something else, because that's life. We're going to be continuously challenged throughout our lives to continue to grow. That's the way it works. You don't grow in your comfort zone. So let's say that's a given. You will continue to experience challenges in your life to continue to prompt you or push you in the direction of the evolution of your soul. Now, how much of a push you need depends on how stuck you are. By stuck, I mean you're not listening to that inner calling. And what does that mean? What does that feel like? It feels like the crisis that you're experiencing in your life keep getting bigger and bigger. It means that you need bigger lessons to start paying attention. Think about it this way. When you're run down, you've got the sniffles, you're not feeling so great. And on some level, if you just slow down just for a couple of days, or just changed your routine for a few days and allowed yourself to get more rest, you'd be fine. But what do we usually do? We push ourselves. So I'm just going to finish this. I've got this deadline. I've got to get this done. And I get it. There's a lot of stressful things happening in our lives. But you push yourself to that point of exhaustion. And then instead of just taking a few extra hours or a day, maybe even 2 days to rest and recover, you end up needing weeks. You've pushed yourself past your edge again and again. So what does this have to do with yoga? Well, this is how we get out of denying our own needs. We use the practices of yoga and meditation to create such a strong inner dialogue with our guidance, with our higher consciousness, that we're never confused about what our next steps in life should be. And that means we're on our path. It means that we don't need as big of crisis to create the course correction that your soul is trying to make. You can have simple nudges. You don't have to have the full out, go down with a cold for 2 weeks, or worse, burnout. That's the worst. That's your soul crying out, saying, you have gone way too far. You have pushed me past my limit again, and I'm not going down that road. I understand what it's like to try to make a big change in your life. I had to quit my job as a pharmacist 3 times before I could finally quit for good. And it wasn't easy after that. It wasn't until I started incorporating practices of yoga and meditation that all the highs and lows started to smooth out, right? And so it's not that big, challenging things didn't come my way. It's just how that felt internally was so different. It's like having a valve to release the pressure, right? So we're under this stress, and we can no longer see our way out. And we often just keep trying the same old things. We have these repeating patterns. We're used to overcoming things by just pushing harder and working longer hours and doing more. And there's a point where your body says, I'm not doing that anymore. I cannot do that anymore. And I won't, because you keep pushing me in the wrong direction. So we have this practice that can be like this pressure valve that instantly releases that feeling of intensity that clouds our thinking and makes us believe that there is no other way to do things. Sometimes we can feel very trapped, whether it's because of financial issues, because of health. We're feeling so burnt out physically. We can't imagine how we're going to improve our health when we can barely get off the couch. Maybe it's relationship. Maybe you can no longer communicate with each other. We're not seeing things clearly. There is a way to just let that pressure off and create this feeling of spaciousness inside. That's really one of the most beautiful aspects of the Kundalini practice, is how quickly it releases that tension, that pressure. When we create that feeling of spaciousness, when we take that pressure off, even if it's just for a fleeting moment, it allows some pretty significant information to be downloaded into you. That's what we're looking for. We need the overthinking, burnt out mind. Just take the back seat for now and allow truth to come through, because you're not stuck, because that relationship might not be as doomed as you believe it is, because, you know, if finances are tight, there's going to be a creative solution to this. But there comes a time where we can't see the solutions anymore because we're so balled up in our anxiety and the stress and strain of it all. So my invitation to you is to consider yourself this dedicated yogi, this dedicated meditator. Consider what that would do for your life if every single day you had this practice that, like that pressure valve, just took that pressure off, even if it begins as just a fleeting moment. The insights that you can receive in that fleeting moment are life-changing ones. They truly are. But you need a dedicated method to take the pressure off. Now, I know there are so many ways that you can practice yoga and meditation. There are thousands, if not millions, of YouTube videos and all sorts of things. And that is definitely one way to get started. Get online, look around, see if you can find something that resonates. But if you're really interested in getting on a journey of transformation, if you're really tired of that roller coaster ride, of that pressure building inside, of the repeating patterns, of the burnout, of the chaos, that chaos that we're experiencing out in the world is really reflective of the inner chaos that we have created inside. So we've got to take the pressure off internally if we want to come up with better solutions for the world at large. Okay, but let's go back to you. What can you do? You can get on a system of training that will teach you how to take that pressure off for good. Doesn't mean your life is going to magically get better. It doesn't mean that there aren't going to be challenges and these ups and downs. Remember, our growth comes through these challenges, but how you experience those challenges internally changes completely. Now, as I said, I know there's thousands and thousands of videos and free resources out there for you, and that is a great place to start. But at some point, you might want to look into what it means to master this practice. If you want to learn something, you study it. If you want to master something, you teach it. That's what yoga teacher training is all about. It's not simply standing at the front of the room and teaching yoga poses in a yoga studio. My students come from such diverse backgrounds. I mean, I've been meeting one-on-one in this mentorship series that I've been offering and learning how my students are using yoga in their coaching businesses, in the Navy, in their classrooms, in these amazing, amazing situations, so that we can help each other and inspire each other and show one another that we can take the pressure off and we can live in a much better way. So I'm bringing that up today because I am opening enrollment very soon to this system of training that can take the pressure off for good. So check out the link. I'm super excited this year because I'm going to do this program in 40 days in a very handheld, guided way. There'll be a lot of support, and that 40 days will be transformative. Check it out. There's more to come.